Single dad takes the wrong train. The woman sitting next to him is a billionaire inventor. It had already been a rough morning for Matt Ellis. The alarm hadn't gone off. His 6-year-old daughter Lila had refused to wear anything except her sparkly tutu. And to top it off, Matt had rushed them onto the wrong train, headed away from the job interview he'd been desperately counting on. Now he sat slumped on the vinyl bench of the express train to North Point, cradling a tearful Lila who'd realized they weren't going to the city zoo after all. He sighed, pulling her close, mumbling a gentle apology. Across from them, a woman in a sleek gray coat and worn sneakers watched them with curious eyes behind wire-framed glasses. She looked out of place, elegant, but relaxed, like someone used to moving between worlds. "You missed your stop?" she asked with a smile. Matt gave her a sheepish glance, more like boarded the wrong train entirely. "Been there," she said. "Where were you headed?" "Downtown. Job interview. I was hoping to get a position at Pinnacle Robotics, maintenance division." At the mention of the company, her eyebrows rose. "Tough place to get into. What kind of background do you have?" "Used to work industrial repair. Ex-Navy mechanic. Took a break when my wife passed. Haven't been able to get steady work since." She noticed how gently he stroked his daughter's hair as she nodded off in his lap. There was a quiet strength to him. Humble, grounded. "I'm sorry about your wife," she said softly, "and the train mix-up." He chuckled dryly. "My life's basically one long series of wrong trains. Just hoping to catch the right one. One day." The woman hesitated, then offered her hand. "I'm Quinn Adler." Matt blinked. "White Chicken Adler." "As in the Quinn Adler?" "The genius behind some of the most revolutionary AI-powered prosthetics. The woman who once turned down a $1 trillion merger to focus on making real things for real people." Quinn gave a modest smile. "The very same. I like taking the train when I need to clear my head." Matt flushed. I didn't mean to dump my problems on." "It's okay." "You didn't?" I asked. They rode in silence for a moment. Then Quinn spoke again. "You know, I've been searching for someone with real-world mechanics experience. Not just theory, but hands-on know-how. I have a new project that needs someone who understands engines, pressure systems, fine calibration, and who's also a decent human being." Matt blinked. "You mean?" "I mean, when we get off this train, I'd like to offer you a job, start of something different. I think you and Leela deserve that." Matt stared at her, speechless. "But," Quinn added with a grin, "you will have to put up with me taking the wrong train on purpose now and then, for inspiration." Tears welled in Matt's eyes, but this time they were the good kind, the relief kind. He looked down at Lila, then back at the woman who had just rewritten the future for both of them. Maybe, just maybe, this was the right train all along. Matt Ellis sat on the train bench, soaked in sweat and shame. His shirt clung to his back. Leela's backpack weighed heavily on his shoulder, and his daughter, his sweet, tutu-wearing daughter, had finally fallen asleep with her head on his lap. Her tiny arms were wrapped around her favorite stuffed penguin, her sparkly pink shoes dangling above the floor. He looked out the window and cursed. Himself. Wrong train. He was supposed to be on the downtown express to Jefferson Street. That's where the Pinnacle Robotics campus was. His interview was scheduled for 9:30 a.m. It was now 9:42. A silent, growing pressure pushed against his chest. He felt like a failure. Again, it wasn't just the interview. It was the years of trying to hold things together after his wife died. The part-time jobs, the garage gigs that barely paid rent, the long nights wondering if Lila would ever have the life she deserved, and now, he couldn't even get them on the right train. He looked down at her. Despite everything, Leela always smiled. Always found something to be excited about. This morning, it had been her tutu. "Because pink gives you power," she had said proudly. From across the aisle, a woman in her late 30s had been observing them. not in a judgmental way but with a kind of quiet curiosity. She wore a gray trench coat over jeans, her long black hair tied in a simple braid. She had a notebook on her lap, filled with cryptic sketches and equations. "Rough morning?" she asked. Matt looked up, embarrassed, then gave a tired laugh. "You could say that." He didn't offer more, but something about her eyes, curious, gentle, unhurried, invited him to keep talking. "I had a job interview, pretty big one, and I blew it because I wasn't paying attention at the station. Hopped on the wrong train." Again, she nodded as if she understood that it wasn't just about the train. "I've taken the wrong train before. Changed my life, actually." Matt chuckled dryly. "That sounds like a nice twist. Mine feels more like a bad sitcom." She smiled. "Where was the interview?" "Pinnacle Robotics." Her eyebrow lifted. "I know, ambitious, right?" Matt said. "They probably wouldn't have hired me anyway. I don't have a degree or fancy certifications. Just Navy training and years of hands-on repair work. But I was hoping, maybe, just maybe, they'd see I was worth a shot. I've read some of their hiring practices are changing. More skill-focused, less resume worship," the woman said. Matt shrugged. "Doesn't matter now. I'm on the North Point line. I should have gotten off 5 stops ago." He rubbed his eyes, not caring any more about holding back emotion. Leela stirred gently in his lap. "You've been doing this alone for a while?" the woman asked softly. He nodded. 6 years. Since Leela was born. Her mom, she had complications. During labor. It was just supposed to be a normal C-section, but things went wrong. "I'm sorry." "Yeah, me too." A few moments passed. The train rattled along, humming over the rails. He expected the woman to turn back to her notebook. Instead, she extended her hand. "I'm Quinn Adler." Matt froze. The name was familiar. Too familiar. Wait. Quinn Adler. Like Q-Tech, Quinn Adler. She gave a little half-shrug. "The one and only." Matt nearly choked. Quinn Adler was a legend in the tech world. The woman who built prosthetics for veterans. Who refused to sell her company to trillion-dollar conglomerates. Who once said in an interview that she'd rather build solutions for people who actually need them than design toys for bored billionaires. "You're joking," he said. She laughed. "I get that a lot." Matt blinked, suddenly very aware that his shirt had a ketchup stain and that Leela's penguin was shedding fluff onto his pants. "Wow, this is crazy. I've read about you, watched interviews. You turned down Google and Tesla in the same month." "Well," she said, "I liked the idea of keeping control and getting to ride the train without being mobbed." He chuckled nervously, then looked down. "Sorry if I had dumped too much on you." "You didn't," she said. "I asked." Another moment of silence passed. Leela stirred, yawned, and sat up slowly, blinking groggily. Quinn smiled at her. "Hey there." Leela clutched her penguin and looked up at Matt. "Daddy, did we miss the zoo?" Matt's heart sank. "Yeah, sweetie, I'm really sorry." Quinn leaned forward. "What's your name?" "Lila," she mumbled. "Well, Lila, how would you like to see a secret workshop with cool robots? Real ones, that even your dad hasn't seen." Lila's eyes widened. Matt's did too. "Wait, what?" Quinn looked at him. "I meant what I said. Taking the wrong train changed my life. Maybe it's about to change yours too." 2 hours later, Matt stood inside a polished industrial lab on the outskirts of the city. The place was nothing like he'd imagined. It was bright, warm, filled with prototypes, half-assembled machines, and 3D printed models scattered across workbenches. Lila was seated beside a friendly engineer named Marcy, who was showing her how a robotic hand could pick up marbles with sensors. Quinn motioned for Matt to follow her to a quieter corner of the lab. "I wasn't just being nice," she said. "I am hiring. I've been looking for someone with field-level, mechanical intuition. Someone who understands how machines behave in practice, not just in theory." Someone who can spot a leak before the diagnostic does. Most of my team are brilliant engineers, but they need someone who's been out there, with grease under their fingernails. Matt stared at her, stunned. I watched how you handled your daughter. How you didn't complain, didn't blame. You just kept going. I like working with people like that. People who adapt. He swallowed. You'd really hire me. We'll start with a trial month. You'll be shadowing, giving feedback, running hands-on tests, and fixing things when the algorithms don't know what went wrong. If it works, we'll make it permanent. And yes, the salary is more than decent. Matt's voice cracked. Quinn, I don't even know what to say. She smiled. Say you'll show up Monday. That's enough. 6 months later, Matt now wore a navy blue Q-Tech badge. He had his own station. His ideas had helped cut calibration times on prosthetic fittings by 40%. And Leela, she'd become something of a mascot around the lab, loved by every engineer and assistant. One afternoon, Matt caught Quinn watching from her office window as he adjusted a motor with Lila sitting nearby, humming to her penguin. He walked up to her door. You ever think about what would have happened if I'd taken the right train that day? He asked. Quinn looked up with a grin. I try not to think about that. I like how this story turned out.